What's going on, 49er faithful, 49er fan, 49er gang? This is your boy Niner Gang Podcast back in the building. Carcast, what's good with you? What's good with you? So definitely hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, turn on them post notifications so I can keep you up to date on any and everything San Francisco 49ers. With that being said, man, let's get right on into it. So this is it, man. Tomorrow we got the big game versus Tom Brady. You know, another 49er fan that is unfortunately what's going on, Matt. That's unfortunately playing, for the Bucs. He like so many 49er fans growing up have had to come and face us, and certain things turn out well for some people, certain things turn out not very well. Matt in the comments tripping talking about he's been ashy lately. I I guess. So at the end of the day, man, Aaron Rodgers, he beat us in the regular season, but for some reason when he comes across us in the postseason, we break him off, man, and he's still upset that we never drafted him, but he'll live through it. Tom Brady has voiced his frustration with the 49ers because we passed on him, and he wound up going in the 6th round to the New England Patriots and whatnot. But, I mean, to be honest with you, when you think about it, you can't really be truthfully mad. You have 7 Super Bowl rings. You got 6 of them with New England, 1 with Tampa Bay. I'd say your career turned out the way it was supposed to. So can't be too upset. But at the, hey, oh, well, if you're still mad, then we're going to make you even more angry when we kick your teeth in tomorrow. But, yeah, man, this game had the storylines all over it if Jimmy Garoppolo was healthy. Like, it would have went absolutely insane. Like, when you think about it, it would have been, Jimmy versus Tom and all of that stuff, man. So, as I stated, I'm going to keep the ball rolling with the DMX versus. This week, I chose a classic, Rough Riders anthem. Just to give you a backstory, DMX didn't even want to do the song. He didn't like the beat or the hook, and he only did it because he lost a card game to D, which is one of the CEOs of Rough Riders. Song was done in like 15 minutes. Basically, DMX was saying like, hey, man, I don't want to get into this and do all that, and he, because of his frustration in losing the card game and losing the bet, he wrote a very sing-songy type of song, and it wound up going, number one, man, that Rough Riders anthem was hard as hell, and it definitely, had everybody in an uproar, especially me while I was in high school. I had one of my homegirls, shout out to my homegirl, Lindsay. Her favorite part was "Mind Your Business, Lady." Like, she loved it. So without further ado, man, let me get into this verse. And remember, I'm flipping these verses to fit the 49ers. I will not play the beat. I ain't got time to get tagged by YouTube for none of that, man. I'm just flipping the verse and doing it my way to fit the 49ers and make things seem make things look better, for us. So without further ado, let me get a little sip of this tea here, wet the whistle, Oh, it's good right there, man. Make sure you get you some elderberry tea in your life. All right, so let's get it. The Bucs won to try. Brady won to lie. Then Bowles wonder why. The Bucs gotta die. 49ers bring the pain with the forecast of light rain. How can Brady maintain with Bosa on the brain? The defense resort to violence. Dre moves in silence like you don't know what our style is. Hufunga is the wildest. The 49ers is with it. You want it? Come and get it. Half sack, we split it. Drake and Kevin did it. What the fuck you gonna do when CMC run up on you? Fucking with the wrong crew. Trent don't have to show you. I'ma have to show Devin how easily we pop David. Let me find out there's some more Bucs that's running with your Bucs. Nothing we can't handle. Purdy about to dismantle. Like DB's up like a candle. Just because Debo can't stand you. You put you on skates. Kittle in your face. Think you holding weight. Then you haven't met the apes. So that's just a little something right there for y'all. You know what I'm saying? Little verse for everybody from DMX, Rough Riders, Anthem, flip that verse, make sure I went ahead and took it and put it into a different spot to make sure that everybody understood that. I'm actually turn that joint into a short because I did one short, man, and that joint got 407 views. I already like it, and I definitely feel real good about the song, and I feel real good about the way I've been flipping these bars. So it's worked out pretty well for me, man. And plus, because I know DMX's music like that, it makes it so much easier. Matt says, I already know 49ers Twitter going to be raging after a Bosa sack gets called back. That all depends, man. Bosa got to keep balling and playing, and unfortunately, he'll be in a situation where he, may or may not be able to, overcome all these non-holding calls that he gets. But we'll see what happens. So, the Bucs come off a narrow win over the Saints, who usually have Brady's number. Not this year. In general, they've lost to him both times. Last-minute heroics got the job done in a W for the Bucs. Meanwhile, we kicked the Dolphins' teeth in with 3 sacks, 3 interceptions on the way to our 5th win in a row, I might add. The Bucs are currently averaging about 17 points per game for the season, which is bad. We are averaging about 23 points per game, which isn't bad. I know what you're saying. Technically, it's only a touchdown more than them. Hey, it's still more than them, and that's all that matters. In this game, the Bucs defense is what bothers me, not their offense. We are number 1 in the league as far as defense, and the Bucs are number 7. So, 2 top 10 defenses going head to head will be fun to watch. We have the task of stopping who some consider the GOAT, Tom Brady, and they are tasked with stopping Glock Purdy. Shout out to Rocky Mountain Razorback for that nickname. Now, obviously, you look at the Bucs. Now, obviously, you look and go, the Bucs should easily make Purdy's life a living hell. Also, it's a fact that Brady has never lost to a rookie quarterback, but there's a first time for everything. Brady is a statue in the pocket, and we should be able to take him out easily with no Tristan Wirfs. Sorry, I lost my spot here. Where to go? All right, with no Wirfs to guard him, and on defense, no Winfield at safety. This helps us out tremendously. Vita Vea has been limited in practice all week, but I'm sure he'll go. No one for the Bucs has been ruled out. I'm sure those that are doubtful will not play. For our defense, we have to stop the usual suspects: Evans, Godwin, Julio, and Fournette, and take the top off guy, Russell Gage. The run game for the Bucs is all but non-existent, so that should be an easy task to stop. Now, stopping Evans and Godwin is different. Evans is a 50-50 ball kind of guy who can climb the ladder and go get it. Godwin is a speed guy, good routes, and can get open and blow past you if you're not careful. And looking into the stats, Brady spreads the ball around evenly, and no one is his specific target. This is something we've seen going all the way back to his days in New England. So for the linebackers and DBs, our task is to stop and or slow down that passing attack, since that's all they have. If we make them one-dimensional, we have an easier task and better chance to shut them down. Offensively, we must get our playmakers involved in every way. We have to get CMC and Mason going in the run game, along with Ayuk, Debo, and Kittle in the pass game. Purdy will have to be on point in his first start ever. Let's see here. All right, the leading sack guy for the Bucs is the big man Vita Vea right now. Right behind him is Devin White, and Carl Nassib is no joke either. For the passing defense by the numbers, we need to be worried about everybody from the linebackers to the DBs and safeties. With 7 interceptions and 37 passes defense, we are playing a ball-hawking defense. Now, while I just gave the Bucs love for being ball hawks, our defense are monsters against the pass. With 54 passes defense and 12 interceptions, we are not to be played with. We may or may not have Bosa. We do have a short week due to playing the Hawks on Thursday Night Football, but we'll see. Brady has his work cut out for him versus our defense. When we look at the wide receivers, I give the edge to our receivers due to health and production. Running backs, we take the edge again because we have better backs, of course. We have the better tight end and O-line. Evans and Godwin are good receivers when healthy, just the season has not been good for them on that front. Now, defensively, we have a better D-line. The linebackers I'll give it a tie. We're great, and so are they. DBs and safety, another tie. Both teams are great in that area. X factors for the game on offense for the 49ers are going to be the CMC, and on defense is going to be Fred Warner. And for the Bucs, it'll be Mike Evans and Vita Vea. At the end of the day, I'll roll with my Niners for the win here. It may not be a blowout, but we're here to ruin Brady's homecoming and make him hate us more for sending him back to Tampa with another L. Now, I know y'all hear the trash truck outside, man. It's early in the morning. That's what happens, Got to get the trash taken out. Yeah, but as far as this game goes, the forecast is light rain, high precipitation, so it's not a big deal. I'm not going to be upset if it's a situation where we are making sure that we're trying to keep Purdy doing simple things. You have to remember him and Jimmy Garoppolo are one and the same. The only difference is Jimmy has a quicker release and he's a vet and he has more experience, which is obvious. So when it comes down to it, we want to make sure that that Brock Purdy has enough time in the pocket, he feels comfortable, and he's not flipping out. So for us, if you look at it from an offensive standpoint, there's two guys that are going to need to be very, very mindful. And that's going to be Jake Brendel and Mike McGlinchey. And the reason that I state both of them is because they get bullied and pushed around in pass coverage. And it sucks because that's the problem that we have. Like, we want to make sure that we have great pass coverage, but, it's just a little frustrating when you watch guys like Brendel or watch guys like McGlinchey get bullied and beat up. And it's like, you guys are too massive human beings for this to happen. I mean, just take it back to a couple of years ago with Mike McGlinchey. He got bullied by C.J. Gardner-Johnson, somebody who's like literally half his size as far as weight goes. And Gardner-Johnson just caught him slipping and bowled right over him. And that's the problem that we have. We don't want to make sure we don't want to have those types of situations for Brock Purdy. We want to make this easy for him, and we want to make sure he is as comfortable in the pocket as it gets. Like I stated earlier, it's a great defense to go against, and that's why you want to be very, very careful. I don't want anyone thinking that, this is going to be a walk in the park game as far as for Purdy. For us on defense, it should be a little bit easier because we can make them one-dimensional. Their run game is all but non-existent, as I had previously stated. If you look at their numbers, just as a total, they don't even have 1,000 yards rushing as a combined unit. Their leading rusher is Fournette. He's averaging 3.5 yards a carry. And right behind him is the rookie Rachaad White, who is averaging 3.8 yards per carry. So when you look at that, that's definitely, not where you would like to be. And then if you flip over to the 49ers and you look at the numbers, it's actually really simple. As a collective, we have 1,489 yards. Jeff Wilson Jr. accounted for a big bulk of that with 468. But even if you take the 468 away, we're still over 1,000 yards with the guys that we have. So CMC is averaging 4.1 yards per carry. Mitchell, when he was in the game for just that small span of time, he averaged 5.6 yards a carry. Debo's still averaging 5.6 yards a carry. And the rookie that we would love to see a lot more of, Jordan Mason, is currently averaging 5.4 yards a carry. What's going on, CG? So when you think about this, all of our backs are averaging more than 5 yards a carry. So that typically, from a technical standpoint, that would mean that we just hand the ball off to him twice and walk down the field, because every 2 times we hand it to him, that's technically a first down. Doesn't always work that way because there are moments where you get stopped and whatnot. And then plus your average is just literally, straight up numbers. It's how many times you ran versus how many yards you gain. They don't account really for the fact that you lose yards, the fact that you run into a pile and have no gains, all that stuff. The numbers are just the numbers, but I'm just saying that we have a way better run game than them, and it's obvious. I do expect CMC and Jordan Mason to continue to keep going. If CMC is unable to go this game, it's going to be pretty much the Jordan Mason and TDP show. And I'll tell you this. If CMC has a moment where he has too much of a setback, it's probably going to just be the Jordan Mason show. And here's why. Mason has been getting more carries than Ty Davis-Price. The reason that Mason's even on the field is because he's a better special teams player than TDP. And then to top it all off, he's been running really hard, man. Like I said, he's averaging over 5 yards a carry. That can't be overlooked. And that's the beautiful thing about it. The only times we saw TDP was maybe a small bit at running back, and then he played fullback for some reason. So it begs the question, should we be drafting running backs, or should we just do what we normally do and pick them up in free agency and turn them into fucking stars? If that's one thing Kyle's system does, it definitely it definitely does build running backs. It's built for them, and it showcases their skills. Kyle puts you in a great position to win when you are an RB. That is definitely a fact. If you don't believe me, just look at the time since he's been here, who he's done it with. Raheem Mostert, Matt Breida, Tevin Coleman. You know what I mean? Like, he's just reached around and found whoever, even if he went and picked up the homie and just, hey, if you got the hot hand, it's your game. And that's how it's been working. So hopefully he continues to roll with that. So CG Ruthless says, how many touches is Mason getting? That all depends on the health of CMC. If CMC isn't particularly overly healthy, I could see Mason getting about 20 to 30 touches. If CMC is healthy, you're probably going to see that knocked down about 10 to 15 because he likes to rotate, and plus CMC is your third down guy. He's that guy out of the backfield that can catch the ball and get busy and make people miss. All of those things come into play. And in this game, in this situation, honestly, I don't think we rest Bosa for Seattle. We should let Bosa play here and then rest him against Seattle. The reason being is because Seattle's not that formidable when it comes to their offensive line. We can get away with having some backups play. And to be honest with you, if you want to rest Bosa, you don't really miss a step. Just put in Drake Jackson. Drake Jackson is no Nick Bosa, but his athleticism, his push, the fact that the man has the most batted footballs in the league and he barely even plays. Are you serious? Yeah, man, just put Drake Jackson in. If Bosa can't go, put Drake Jackson in. Tell him, hey, look, this is your chance, man. Go out there and shine and show us what you got. You've got 3 downs to make it happen. Let's do it. And I'm okay with that. Like, I've seen enough from Drake Jackson to feel comfortable with him starting if he needs to be able to do so for Nick Bosa. Don't hold the kid back. Unleash him. Let him go. You know what I mean? And then at the same time, we still have Charles Omenihu, who is right up there in the top 5 in the league in pressures. And he's our second leading sack guy with 4 sacks. Nick Bosa has 14 and a half, but I mean, hey, that's Bosa. It's just what he does, man. So when you're looking at it, you keep going into the skill positions and things of that nature. It's different. So we have our own situation where when you look at our wide receivers, we've got some dynamic receivers. Deebo Samuel, amazing receiver, great with the yak. Brandon Ayuk, I'm going to call him Mr. Ping Pong because he bounces off of anything. Like, this dude literally, like, if you don't wrap him up properly or you don't have 2 people on him and he's in stride, he's usually going to bounce off of you. He'll spin, he'll do something, but you will not tackle him in the open field very easily. Brandon Ayuk does not go down simply. And to top it all off, George Kittle. Look at George Kittle. Kittle is a monster, and he's awesome. So if you think about it, Kittle ain't going down easily. You don't believe me? Just go back a couple years, watch the Saints game where he had, I believe, 2 people hanging on him. One dude, the third dude jumped on him, and that's who brought him down. But he had 2 people hanging on him. He had his face mask being pulled, and he kept moving as if nothing was happening. The man is a monster. So if we can get Kittle involved in this game, that'll go a long way for us as well. I would love for that to happen because if you do that, then you make people fear him again and they start paying too much attention to Kittle. That makes the field wide open for Debo, for JJ, and for BA. It's just that simple. So on offense, if we can execute our game plan to the fullest, if anything, just get the run game going so we don't have to ask Purdy to throw the ball a lot against this defense, we'll be perfectly fine. Now, when you look at it versus the run, I'm trying to take a look because the Bucs, they do fairly well against the run, man. Like, it's just not a game. They're looking pretty good. So let's take a look at where they are from the rushing standpoint because I was looking at passing. All right. So for defense, we are ranked. Give me a sec. 1, 2, 3. Whoop. This thing don't want to. This thing just wants to act up. Defense, we're ranked number 1 against the run. We only allowed 3.4 yards per carry, and we've only allowed 9 touchdowns this year. And then for the Bucs, they're averaging giving up 4.5 yards per carry, and they've given up 7 TDs. So when you take a look at these things, it's not too far off, but 4.5 is definitely more than enough for us. I mean, if we got a back averaging 4.5 yards a carry throughout the whole game, I'm not upset with that. You know, maybe a couple of big runs here and there. Hopefully, we do get to see a little bit more of Jordan Mason, but that remains to be seen. Give me just a sec, y'all. I'm gonna do a quick little check here. Give me just a second. Sorry about that. All right. So definitely letting y'all know something real quick, man. I am completely bad with time zones and whatnot. Give me just a sec. Let me see something really quick. Sorry about that. Trying to make sure. We'll be back in just a quick moment. Coffee, what's going on? Let Purdy dink and dunk. Yes, definitely so. Yeah. So I definitely appreciate everybody for coming and hanging out with your boy, man. I know this was a really short show. I am going to be back here probably in just about an hour or so. I promised my dog we was going to do something real quick. We're going to talk about some things. And I'm going to come back, man, because I told my boy Wayne Breezy we're going to be on at 11:30. And I, unfortunately, am on an hour ahead of time. So I will definitely be back with with the big homie Wayne Breezy. We're going to get that cracking. But I'm definitely going to do that. We'll have a nice little talk, get some things rolling for him on the Saturday. Shout out to my guys from the Hive that are out there in Santa Clara. They're going to be hanging out with everybody, man. They're going to be hanging out with everybody. Let me see where they will be. So if anybody is out there going to the game and y'all want to meet any of the homies from the Hive, definitely make sure that you go ahead and get with them, man. They're going to be out there doing some things. Let's take a look here. I am trying my best to find that tweet so I can show y'all where we will be. Let me see what's going on. Where'd that tweet go, man? I got it. There it is. Sometimes you'd be looking for stuff, man, and it'd be killing you because you'd be looking at it and you'd be like, what the heck? Let's see. Hive. Spelling stuff wrong, man. This has been crazy. Dang it. Okay, let's just do this. Let's do this. Hive. Why? Oh, my God. This is like the worst. There we go. Jesus Christ. Sometimes when you looking for stuff, man, it'd be crazy. Oh, yeah, you gotta light Levi's up for Purdy, man. Gotta light Levi's up for Purdy. Definitely so, bro. Because he's gonna be there. He's a dude. We gotta do it, and we gotta be able to support him. Now, there's one thing that I do want to talk about really quick before I get out of here. Everybody need to calm down. We have so many people that are sitting up here freaking out and going insane and swearing up and down that we need to move on from Trey Lance and we're just going to go with Brock Purdy. I need y'all to calm down. I really need y'all to calm down. It's not a situation where you can do that. Here's the reason. You've invested too much into Trey Lance, and you're not going to just throw the guy away. And my situation, here's the thing for me. This is what I would say. If the 49ers move on from Trey Lance after this year, say hypothetically speaking, they win a Super Bowl with Brock Purdy, and they decide, well, We can probably try to flip Trey Lance for something more than what we gave up. Looks bad on you as an organization. And here's why. Because if you are there and you draft this kid, you tell him we believe in you, then you come out and you run him into the ground, and the next thing you know, when it comes to Jimmy Garoppolo and Brock Purdy, they're throwing consistently. It tells me that you were too busy trying to take advantage of this kid's wheels, and you couldn't develop a game plan for him. All of the throws that Brock and Jimmy are throwing and making, Trey Lance can do with a deep ball to go along with that. So it's not as if Trey Lance is crappy or he sucks, because that's not the case. He just hasn't had the experience. He has to grow. He's going to make mistakes. There will be interceptions. There will be throws where you're like, what the fuck were you thinking? But technically speaking, when you're a rookie and you haven't played any games, yeah, those things are going to happen. Mistakes will happen. Vets make mistakes. Do their mistakes get overlooked a bit because they're vets? Yes. And if you have a good reputation, if you've won a few Super Bowls or you've done certain things in the league to be able to warrant the fact that those mistakes that you have made don't look so bad or not talked about as much because of who you are and what, how you develop your brand, so to speak, then yeah, that's cool. He has to develop his brand. And what hurts the most is that the 49er fans, they don't back Trey Lance the right way, man. A lot of fans out there are too busy clamoring for Jimmy Garoppolo. The minute Adam Schefter said that he could be back in 7 to 8 weeks, people got all happy and excited. David Lombardi went on a nice little rant about how we could bring him back. You want to bring a dude back off of 6 to 8 weeks of rest, and he's going to be rusty and throw him into a playoff game? What happens if Brock is rolling, man? What happens if it's a situation where Brock is he's working? He goes 3-2, 4-1, maybe even 5-0 in these next 5 games. What happens if all those things go down? You're not going to mess with the continuity of the team. I definitely am not handing the keys back over to someone who just can't get anything done in the playoffs. Jimmy's never won us a playoff game. Has he done some things? Yes, but he never does enough. I've never seen a playoff game that we played where I literally can look and go, we won because Jimmy Garoppolo did this. When we were in that game versus Green Bay just earlier this year in the frozen tundra, what happened? Jimmy threw it to deep, threw a short pass to Debo. The pass was maybe 5 yards or less. And Debo was the one who got us in position to be able to have Robbie Gould kick that field goal. That's what happened. That was not Jimmy Garoppolo throwing a bomb to Debo or BA or Kittle or anybody and we scored a touchdown. We didn't. We scored a touchdown on special teams because Jordan Willis blocked a punt. Talanoa Hufanga luckily found it and went in. So it's not going to change anything. It's not going to change anything. So I'm not going to get mad at him. I'm definitely going to say, hey, look, man, at the end of the day, we appreciate you for what you did, but he's out of here. And think about it as well. I know a lot of people tripped out about what I was talking about and things like that. It's very, very simple. You have to look at it from a standpoint. You have to look at it from a standpoint very seriously of, as an agent, do I want my client back out there on the field, or do I want him to heal up, be healthy, and do exactly what he's supposed to do? Now, I got a special guest who just popped in the building. I'm just going to openly admit this, guys. This is my fault. I'm bad with time. I completely neglected the East Coast to Mountain Standard Time ratio, and I thought it was still 3 hours, and it's only 2. But I have none other than the man, the myth, the legend, one of the greatest podcasters on the planet, an inspiration to me, a brother, a father. You know what I'm saying? One of the most amazing people that you will ever meet. He has the greatest energy of anyone I've ever met. And I mean that wholeheartedly, because you can never get this dude down. This man got his channel taken from him. It didn't stop him. He got his Instagram hacked. It didn't stop him. This dude is unstoppable. He is relentless. And he is relentless in his support of the Niners and support of all of us content creators in the community. I laud and I praise him like that because he really truthfully inspires me to be a better person along with being a better podcaster. I am doing this at 8:30 on Saturday because he got on my ass about being consistent. So if y'all don't know who the fuck I'm talking about, man, it is none other than the man, the myth, the legend, the artist, one of the best people I know, man, my brother from another mother. Wayne Breezy is in the building. What's going on, Breezy?
What's going on, bro? Got me. I'm gonna have to work on my introductions and bringing people out because that topped anything that I've ever came up with, man. Man, I appreciate the invite. Don't feel bad about the mountain time. I forget there's a such thing.
I
So
do.
it's just Pacific and Eastern for me. Like
Right. I
everybody
try
else
my
got to
best to
figure it out.
keep it that way, so I be forgetting sometimes, bro. But yeah, man, I made sure I had to bring you in like that, man, because I want people to understand that this is we have to admire and be boastful and braggadocious about each other
For
because
sure.
some people may not. Some people be like, oh, we don't like this. We look, man. At the end of the day, man, Breezy is my dog. You got something to say? You come talk to me, and I'll make sure that you keep your mouth shut about my guy. Nobody can say
Appreciate you.
anything about Breezy. He does what he does. But man, um, I'm telling you, this is a game that we will all come to love watching because of the defensive battle.
Oh
But
yeah.
let's talk quarterbacks.
Let's talk quarterbacks.
Now we know Tom Brady is considered the GOAT. He's got 7 rings. He's going up against Mr.
Let's talk
Purdy here.
quarterback.
Now
Keep going.
whoa. Yeah, so we have that. We have Brock Purdy, and they've got the greatest of all time. But at the
Mm-hmm.
same time, we've got a
We
defense
have
that only
Brock Purdy, and
faces
they've got the
one
greatest of all
dimension.
time.
You know what I'm saying?
Like I like Brock. I like what we saw from Brock Purdy.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I realized that Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers aren't having they're having a mediocre season. And I want them to continue having a mediocre season. I don't expect anything beyond mediocre from this team because that's what their team is this particular season. I get Tom Brady threw for 5,000 yards last year, was looking like he was defeating Father Time. Well, I tell you what, he looks like he's defeating Father Time again because he has over 3,000 yards on his way to 4,000, 16 touchdowns, I believe, and 3 interceptions. So he's not the issue, but they are forcing Tom Brady to throw the ball. I want to do the same thing. They're 6-6, and Tom Brady has to drop back 40 plus times a game to possibly win a game. They're 50-50, right? And so when I look at our team, and I look at our quarterback, and I say to myself, well, you know what? Brock Purdy may not be better than Tom Brady. Duh, right? But what he does have is a better supporting cast than Tom Brady. And let's just stick to the offense. I'm not even gonna get to the defense. We'll talk about that later. He has a better supporting cast. Let's talk about that offense. The offense is built for a quarterback, that just has to be competent. Like the quarterback doesn't have to have elite skills like a Patrick Mahomes or a Josh Allen. No, they just got to be competent. What does competent mean? It means don't turn the ball over. Basically, end the discussion. Don't turn the ball over and find ways to execute what's asked to be executed. If they can do that, I don't see Brock Purdy struggling in this game. I don't care how great this Tampa Bay defense is. I know they're ranked 7th. I know Todd Bowles is aggressive. We don't play well against aggressive defensive play callers, hence the Saints. Did we not struggle with Jimmy Garoppolo? So I expect the struggle to be there for Brock. I think the off script plays is what we're really not owning in on. And I think that's kind of where what gives Brock a little bit more of an edge. If he can find a way off script to still execute, oh man, it's gonna be a great day for the 49ers and the faithful.
Yeah, I agree with that, man. And like I was looking at the game, trying to figure out where the edge goes, and on offense, it's just wild because when you look at the receivers for the Bucs, you have Mike Evans and you have Chris Godwin. They take the top off the guys Russell Gage, who was previously an Atlanta Falcon. And I mean, their tight end. I'm sorry, they tight ends for them don't necessarily exist because either somebody's always hurt or somebody's just not. They don't really target them. So when I look at us, we got BA, we got JJ, we got Debo. So when you look at those three receivers versus what they have, if you had the option, who would you go with?
Mm-hmm.
I would go honestly with our guys. And
Really?
the reason, yeah, and I'll tell you why. You
Okay.
love Mike Evans' ability to climb the ladder. You love the fact that he's a 50-50 kind of ball guy. Like if you put that ball near him, he can catch it. Just hasn't been consistent this year. Same thing with Godwin. Godwin, unfortunately, has been injured in and on and off all year long. So for us, we've had the pillar of consistency when it comes to BA. Even though Debo, I think Debo's missed like a small amount of time, but he hasn't missed, enough to be significant where it's really affecting his numbers. So when I look at the receivers, I think, let me go with the 49ers. What would you go with?
I like that. I feel like it's more of a push.
Mm-hmm.
And like, well, I tell you what, I go with the 49ers, but it's not because of Debo Samuel and it's not because of Brandon Ayuk. I feel like if you take the top two guys, it's a push. It's preference. We don't have a quarterback that can get the ball down the field like Tom Brady. Therefore, Mike Evans works for Brady. I'm not sure he would work well in San Francisco. And but I do know that Debo Samuel will work well as hell in Tampa because Brady can also do the short game. So I kind of feel it's a push between the top two. I think what gives the 49ers the edge, my guy, is Jawan Jennings, the usage of Ray McLeod. If we supplement any other those type of wide receivers in there as well. I mean, we're not really hearing anything about those anyone else other than those four guys, right? I don't think Danny Gray has a reception, period, this year.
Let me take a look. I got the stats up right
Go
here.
ahead and do that.
Receiving? No, not one.
Not one. He's been targeted, but 0 receptions. I'm trying to think of any other wide receivers, not tight ends, but any other wide receivers that have even receptions for the 49ers. And I don't think I don't think there's any. I mean, it might be like Malik Turner
It's
back.
BA. No, literally the only four people that are wide receivers are BA. Yeah, BA, Debo, JJ, and Ray. Those are the only four wide receivers that we have that have actually caught a pass for the 49ers. Nobody else has caught a pass. I knew Ray McLeod was going to become obsolete the minute Trey Lance went down because you just don't have anyone that can get him the ball. And that's the hard part because you can have this dude. The one thing I would say, Danny Gray. The one thing you can tell Danny Gray to work on in the offseason is route running and blocking. If you can get the route running right with that kind of speed, you become, a little baby Tyreek Hill. Because that's the thing with Tyreek Hill. When you play him, Tyreek Hill has the best body control of any receiver I've ever seen in the game of football. And I've been watching football for a very long time. You can put that ball in the vicinity of Tyreek Hill, and he's going to find a way to get to it. The one thing that's good about him is he makes his quarterback look very good because sometimes the ball is placed in the spot that it should not be. I don't know how the hell he does it, but he finds a way to get there.
Yeah.
So
that tracking ability, man.
That tracking ability is disgusting for him. But then when you look at it, there are times where you're like, well, why is the quarterback, even throwing anywhere near there? But you've got that type of energy. So you say, okay, I'm going to put the ball there because I know he's going to go get it. He's going to find a way to get it. He's going to come back to it. He's going to come underneath the guy. He's going to do whatever he has to do. When it comes to the 49ers running backs versus the Bucs running backs, the Bucs don't have a run game. It's almost all but non-existent. Everybody on their team is averaging 3.8 yards a carry or less. All of our guys, you ready for this, Breezy?
I'm ready.
Over 5 yards a carry. Everybody. Mason, Mitchell, for the small period of time that he was in, was averaging over 5 yards a carry.
Less reps though, so you gotta factor like CMC's getting the bulk. They're running them up the middle. They're trying to get him outside. They're trying to confuse that defense. Like, all right, man, because listen, I keep telling everybody. I know a lot of people are worried about CMC running up the middle. Listen, if the right trap block can work, that boy is gone. All he has
Oh
to
yeah.
do is make one guy miss. And I feel like Kyle Shanahan is like, man, if Banks is squaring off and blocking this way, or Brunskill or whoever is in there on that side is
Mhm.
blocking this way, and the tackles are getting to the outside, sealing off those blocks, he can cut back in. So if McGlinchey, who's not well this year,
Yeah.
and run blocking, you're not expecting that. If you look at the runs for the 49ers, the great ones are usually to the left side,
Mm-hmm.
which is Banks and Trent Williams' side. And so what you want is for CMC to be effective. You want him. You remember, that basketball term inside out, where
Mm-hmm.
they'll drive inside and kick it outside.
Yep.
Somebody's ready to shoot the three. That's kind of what they're trying to set up on offense for the run game. They're trying to develop the inside game, and then they're going to find a way to kick it out. Now everybody's like, well, why not just give it to Jordan Mason on the inside? And I really think it's because they're trying to use him as that closer. It's kind of
Mm-hmm.
what they were doing with Elijah Mitchell. All right, second half, man, they ain't seen this guy yet. We got full set of steam from a running
You're
back,
right.
and boom, it's Mitchell time. You know what I mean?
No, I completely get you, and I understand you with that one because it's it sucks because for as a defense, you're like, wait, they about to punch me in the mouth with another dude who's just been sitting there fully healthy. He's ready to go. He's got all the energy and he's ready. Like, no, I'm not. I ain't with that. I don't want to deal with that. Like, that frustrates me. So I get that part. Yes, I do agree that they could be using Jordan Mason as a closer. If CMC doesn't is limited in this game, you'll see a lot more of him. And I think honestly, I was saying this earlier. It's weird. We draft running backs and they don't do well, but
Yeah.
anybody undrafted seems to shine and flourish in the system. And
Mm.
it's really crazy because look at Matt Breida, undrafted. Look at Raheem Mostert, undrafted.
Drafted.
Look at Elijah Mitchell was the last back that we had that we drafted, but he's a fifth round guy,
Mm-hmm.
and he was the last guy that actually shined for us. I mean, my heart goes out to the kid because I would love for him to be healthy because it seems like when he's healthy, he just seems to know how to run the rock properly.
Yeah.
But when you're not healthy, it becomes unfortunate. But then you look at their backs. The kid Rashad White is pretty good. He's actually not bad. He's nothing to scoff at. And then we all know who Leonard Fournette is, but he's not the same Leonard Fournette that was with the Jaguars. Like
Correct.
People aren't fearing him, as much as one would think. I think Dre, Aziz, and Fred are salivating at the chance to hit this guy. And I mean, if anything, back in the day, you'd have to go low on Leonard. Now you can possibly go up top if you got the cojones to go up there and really try to get it.
I still don't want to see Leonard and the goal on the goal line though.
It's
almost an instant score for that guy.
He's a banger. He's definitely a banger. He's a hard runner.
And I don't think that the 49ers have any issues in stopping the run. So let's just keep it a buck. Now, if we're switching to defense, I think they'll have zero issues in stopping the run. I think the longest rush you may see, 8-9 yards, it will be the longest. Will they have issues stopping the run? No. This is where I think the 49ers may struggle defensively. And it's only because of Tom Brady. It's in the screen game.
Okay.
In the screen game. Tom Brady, if y'all like Jimmy Garoppolo getting the ball out quick, well, Tom Brady does it even quicker. And what made Tom Brady sustain his career so long is the fact that every team that he's been a part of, which is only two, right? They made sure that they found a way to develop that screen, which is an extension of the run game, because you can't always run up the middle. You can't always run outside the zone. So you got to have to figure out creative ways to get the ball out. And the one thing that they are pretty good at, I don't think they have the same ability with the players, though. It's not like it wasn't in New England. New England had them shifty, low down, gritty, grindy, catch the ball out of the backfield dudes. That's not what Tampa has, but that's where Rashad White comes in, bro, who was drafted by the Cardinals or whatever? But anyway, that's where he comes from. And that's where I'm a little bit more concerned in the screen game. Not worried about the receivers so much in the screen game. You may see some Russell Gage, some Chris Godwin. I wouldn't do that to Chris Godwin. I would not let him run screens because he's getting popped. And if he's just coming off of this injury, let somebody else do it. But Russell Gage is a guy you want to pay attention to. And then, like you said, Rashad White out of the backfield. We don't even know if Leonard Fournette's going to play in this game, but watch the screens.
Yeah, I completely agree with that, man. Because the situation is the screenplay is literally hit or miss.
Okay,
It either
good.
works
Yep.
or it don't, and
Mhm.
that's for any team in the league.
It's got
If
to be
it works,
disciplined. Hmm.
yeah, if it works and everybody's blocking properly and you're disciplined, then hey, you can either get a touchdown out of it or you can get a nice chunk play or definitely at a minimum a first down. But if it don't work,
It's getting
somebody
blown up.
misses that block,
Hmm.
you can get your world rocked real easily. And we got hitters. And I'm gonna tell you right now, I don't think anybody wants to get hit by Big Play Dre. That dude, hey man, hey, he was
Well,
mic'd up the last game too.
yes, sir. This, like I said, this game's going to come down to discipline and the 49ers defensive guys staying in their lanes because they don't want to get confused. If those guys can stay in their lanes. So for example, there was one play that Nick Bosa probably made the wrong play and Fred Warner was in the wrong spot to clean it up. So there was like a miscommunication on that right side. Remember,
Mhm.
Nick Bosa was going in for the sack. They faked the handoff, whatever, and then they threw a screen as he was gushing to get by the defender. There was the running back out of the backfield, and they got a first down. That was the Chiefs game. Oh my
Yes,
gosh, because it was Jarek mother freaking McKinnon,
McKinnon.
bro.
Ugh. I hate that guy. I really do. That dude. Yeah, everyone knows how I feel about Jarek McKinnon
Dude
because I
had
wasn't.
tired legs with the 49ers. Not to dwell upon that. That's
No.
what he came up with, and he just could not get it right. I just don't think he wanted to play here, and it was what it was. But
Mhm.
listen, I don't think that the 49ers are going to struggle too much. I think my only concern is what type of Brock Purdy are we going to get?
Mhm.
And it,
Mhm.
I'm expecting not to get what we saw last week, but if we can get at least what we saw last week, there's no way in two heavens and hells we losing this game, dog.
And my number one thing is this is what I was trying to tell people, and a lot of people try to jump on me for it. He didn't do anything that Jimmy wasn't doing.
Ah,
What
so
what what people what and this is what I meant by that because I prefaced my comments by saying I'm not saying that Purdy is better than Jimmy Garoppolo because he's not.
mhm.
Jimmy Garoppolo is definitely better than Brock Purdy. But what I'm telling you is, if you look at it from a statistical, analytical standpoint,
Yes,
he
sir.
didn't do anything that Jimmy didn't do. The only thing Jimmy has done over the past 4 games before that last game was the fact that he had a 4 touchdown game against the Cardinals. Other than that, Jimmy did exactly what we all want him to do. Just don't mess it up. Don't screw it up. That's all we
Okay.
ask. If you go out here and you can execute this game plan and you can do what we asked you to do and give us at least 2 to 3 touchdowns, that's fine. You don't need to throw for 600 or 700 yards. No one cares about that. Let Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen have that crap. If we can dink and dunk, get you to about 250, get about 2 to 3 touchdowns out of you, and make sure we limit the mistakes, then we're fine. As long as we control the clock and our defense is doing what they've been doing, we have nothing to worry about.
I agree. I agree. But that's the test, right? Like
Yes.
that, like you're asking Brock still. Listen, I just feel like I expect the team,
Mm-hmm.
the supporting cast, the defense, the offense to help lift Brock, just like they would do if it was Jimmy Garoppolo. Because everybody used to say, "Hey, Jimmy didn't win the games; the team won the games." Well, okay, fine. Well, let's keep that same mantra and that same motto,
Mm-hmm.
and let's do it again. And I think that's why, like, a lot of people feel like the 49ers are going to win this game because it's the way that the team is built, and they feel like it's a plug and play thing now opposed to like 2 or 3 years ago when they were still building the team and Jimmy used to always win with the team that we had, but the team still wasn't to this caliber, right? And now that the team is at this
Mm-hmm.
level, it may just be a plug and play because here's the thing, like Brock doesn't have to be like Mr. Perfect. He just has to go out there and do exactly what you said. Execute the game plan, and when stuff goes off script, find a way to make a play. That's the only time I feel like Brock needs to find a way when something goes off script. Other than that, if Brock sticks to the script, because it's scripted. So if he sticks to the script, 9 times out of 10, this game shouldn't be a problem. It should not be a problem.
I agree with that, man. Shout out to 49ers throwback. He's been consistently in
Fernando.
definitely What's going on? I see Jacqueline always on your show, man.
Hey,
Thank you for stopping
Jackie.
by the stream. I appreciate it. Anybody who's here that's new, definitely hit the like and subscribe button, man.
That's Jackie from 227.
Jack,
Jackie.
hey. What you know about 227 Breezy? What you know about
Bro,
227,
come
bro?
on, man. That was my show, bro.
Hey, man. People be forgetting about them shows like that back in the day.
Not us.
227. What was the show with
Amen.
Amen?
227. Yeah,
227
man.
Fame?
Fame. Eddie
Yeah,
Allen.
man.
Absolutely.
Yeah, who's the boss?
Who's the
All
boss?
these
That was,
shows,
and the
man.
funny thing is that show was based off a town in Connecticut called Fairfield, which
Oh,
is
crazy.
where all
Okay.
the rich people live. So and remember, he was a maid.
Yeah.
He was a housekeeper.
He was basically a maid for rich family. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
And they were
Yeah.
from the
Oh
Bronx,
yeah.
remember?
Oh yeah. Yeah, man. We go back, bro. Heck, remember the actual regular TV show, The Incredible Hulk?
I do. And
Lou
it was
Ferrigno.
when he just was like, yeah, I do.
That
And he was just a diesel dude. He wasn't,
he was
it
just
wasn't
he was just literally huge. That's
no
just what he
CG, no
was.
CGI. No CGI.
None. Just him and a bunch of green paint.
Yes, sir. But listen, D, I gotta jump up here.
Yes, man.
I gotta get to a gig far away.
Do your
But
thing,
I
man.
do
Hey,
appreciate you for letting me come on and talk some Niner talk with you, man. And I love what you do. Guys, everybody here, if you're not already subscribed to the channel, make sure you subscribe to his channel. And don't forget to hit that like button and leave comments, because I'm gonna go back and read those comments on his joint. And I'm gonna respond to y'all in the comment section.
yeah, definitely something. I appreciate you for coming and hanging out with me, man. And there's never a let. Anytime you had an opportunity, or you want to come hang out with your boy, man, it ain't never nothing. Me and Breezy will be hanging out in Vegas
Yes, sir.
toward the end of the year for that Raiders game, man. But thank you so much for coming on, Breezy, and hanging out with me, man. Go ahead and definitely get to your gig. Jacqueline, I appreciate the subscribe. There it is. Breezy, look at the Breezy magic working already. Literally, he came in and she just hit that subscribe. Appreciate that so much.
I want to leave you with this.
Yes.
You said that Brock Purdy can do exactly the same things Jimmy Garoppolo can do. And I can't disagree with that, because I watched it. We watched it last week. We witnessed it.
Mm-hmm.
If Brock Purdy wins like this game right here, this is the first game where he's going to start and he's game plan. If Brock Purdy leads the 49ers to a victory in this game, that's the end of Jimmy Garoppolo. I'm going to leave on that note, and I'm going to let y'all figure out what I'm trying to talk about, and I'm going to talk about it next week on the Breezy Show, and you definitely could be on the show, and we can go ahead and rediscuss that. But if he wins this game right here, his first start, and wins this game, doesn't have to be in high fashion. It just has to be a win. That will be the end of Jimmy Garoppolo as a 49er. Love you, bro.
Love you, bro. Peace out, man.
Peace out.
Yeah. Yo, so that's crazy right there. Look at the way he left. He left us with a golden nugget right there. And that definitely tells you the truth of it. It could definitely spell the end of Jimmy. And why is that? We will definitely come back and take a look at that, man, and figure out exactly what we need to do. And figure out why that could be. Me personally, you know me. I unfortunately, with this injury, I feel like he's going to move on and move forward. If Don Yee and him are definitely in communication like they should be, if I'm his agent, I'm telling him, don't do anything. Just rehab. Get fully healthy. I want you to have a clear physical, because when I shop you to these quarterback needy teams next year, I want to make sure you are the pillar of health and you are ready to go. It only makes sense if that is the case, because you do not want to put yourself in a situation where you limit the bag you're going to get because you went out here and forced yourself to do things. Now, it can work one of two ways. You can look great to these teams and say, hey, man, he came off 7-8 weeks and he went right back in and right into the playoffs. But then it can backfire on you by saying he went 7-8 weeks and then came back and went into the playoffs and they lost and he looked horrible. You don't want to do that. You want yourself to look as good as you possibly can. It's just how it works. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Appreciate my dog Breezy for stopping by and hanging out with your boy. Thank you so much, Niner Faithful. We have a win on our hands tomorrow. We just have to execute our game plan and be disciplined, make sure that we stop those receivers for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and make sure that we hit Brady, man. Number one thing with Brady is he's the same way Jimmy Garoppolo is. I don't want to be hit. I want to be left alone. I want the pocket to be calm. I want to be able to dink and dunk and do all the things that I need to do. But if he doesn't have time and he's rattled, he makes mistakes. Don't believe me? Go see the 2 Super Bowls that the Giants beat him. How did they beat Brady? They rattled his cage. Did he fight back? Yes, but he does not like to get hit. So it is what it is, man. But thank y'all so much for tuning in. I appreciate everyone. Y'all have yourselves a blessed weekend. Continue to have fun. Stay faithful. Be safe. And most of all, go Niners.